Am I the a-hole for asking my brother to pay $30,000 for my engagement ring? I hosted a family dinner over the weekend, and my brother brought my nephews 4 and 8 over as well. I used to wear my engagement ring all the time, but lately I keep it in my walk-in closet and mainly wear it for special occasions. While I was cleaning up the dinner table, my nephews went to go play while the adults were still in the outdoor patio/outdoor kitchen area, and my brother was not supervising his kids. During this time, my nephews went into the master bedroom without anyone knowing and started playing with everything, including my engagement ring. When we came to look for them, they panicked because they know they aren't supposed to be upstairs, then ran into the master bathroom and flushed my ring. We called a plumber in case it was somehow in the U-trap of the toilet and not actually gone. But nope. Unfortunately, it was gone for good. We still had the original receipt, so I called my brother. I emailed him a scanned copy as proof of the cost and asked him to reimburse me for the ring my nephew flushed. Immediately, he started calling me an a-hole because we are family and he was just a child and has refused to repay the cost of my ring. I told him I will be taking him to court for this, and now my entire family is blowing up my phone, saying families shouldn't sue each other and just let it go. Edit? No, the ring was not insured. I found out the day after my nephew flushed it. My husband says he forgot, and in the end, never actually insured it. My brother says he does not have the money to repay even $100 per month and has refused any kind of repayment plan. He said I live in a nice enough house, and if I want a replacement, I should just sell my car. My brother, to this day, has not truly apologized. It was a Canadian sorry, not sorry. He said kids will do what is normal for kids, and they shouldn't be held responsible for a ring. But they were supposed to supervise their kids outdoors with the rest of the family while I was busy cleaning up. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. His circus, he's monkeys. He wasn't watching them, so that's on him. 100% he should replace your ring. As for all the family who are blowing up at you, it's easy when it didn't happen to them to preach forgiveness. Ignore them. Also, 8 and 4 are more than old enough to know better. My 3-year-old knows not to touch someone else's things in their home without asking. Choices have consequences, and sometimes those consequences are expensive. Sorry this happened to you. 8 and 4 are more than old enough to know better. They did know better. That's why they ran and flushed it. This is the most insane part of the story in my opinion. I get it being kids and all, but what the heck is that? What are these kids learning from their parents? Your $30,000 ring wasn't insured? That's the first thing you're supposed to do, because accidents happen even if you don't wear your ring often. They get stolen or nibblings flush them randomly. Hence, insurance. It's not a deal to sue him, because he should never put you in this position. He should have proposed some sort of payment plan, in some way, shape, or form. Since he was a giant a-hole about blaming you, now you're not the a-hole taking him to court. Unless you have insurance and can handle it that way. Not a-hole. Your family's right. Families shouldn't sue each other because it should be being repaid without courts. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my daughter to my wedding? I, 37 male, am getting married this fall and have made a choice to not invite my daughter Bella, 16 female, due to circumstances I will explain in this post. Before people tell me that we should sit down and talk or do therapy, those options have been exhausted and are no longer viable. Me and my ex-wife, Theresa, 38 female, do not have a good relationship. We started dating at 16 and then had Bella at 21. At first, everything was awesome, but then my wife started hanging out with a group of women. Just not very good people, and I refused to hang out with them. My wife started drinking heavily with this group and going out at night, leaving me with our daughter. I didn't like how she was keeping up our home either, as I worked full-time and she didn't. But the final straw was when I was forced to come along bar hopping. Theresa got embarrassingly drunk, then started calling me a loser in front of everyone. This was not the first time she had publicly disrespected me. She had a habit of trying to show off to her friend by belittling me. I filed for divorce the next weekend. The original custody agreement was 50-50, which then changed because I asked for a DNA test on Bella. I had heard rumors and wanted to confirm. My ex blew up and refused to allow a DNA test to be done, solidifying what I expected. My ex went back and got pretty much full custody because I refused to pay child support without a DNA test. And this has been the arrangement for 5 years. I see Bella a few times a month. I do what I can, but I don't have custody, so it's difficult. I'm engaged to one of my best friends, Chrissy, 33 female. We've known each other since college, and Bella hates her for no reason. Chrissy wasn't even involved in my life once I got married. Bella for some reason thinks she's terrible, when Chrissy has been nothing but nice to her. Then recently someone showed me Bella's social media where she blasted us, saying how she had a deadbeat dad. Not true, as I paid for her and her mom for 7 years, and still give her money whenever I see her, and called Chrissy a loose woman in the same post. I was planning my invites for our wedding, and I did not invite Bella. She didn't care for us. She called Chrissy a slur, and shamed me on social media, lying for attention. I also don't want drama at my wedding. It should be a fun time, not another event for Bella to hijack. Well, my ex-wife found out about the wedding and asked what Bella's role would be. I told her she didn't have one because she isn't invited. I called Bella and gave her my reasoning, as well as telling her that her post on social media played a factor, so she should be more careful what lies she wants to put out there. She tried to apologize and say she would behave at the wedding. I told her that I knew she didn't like Chrissy or me that much, so why would she expect an invite? She called me an a-hole, and we haven't spoken since. Am I the a-hole? I wouldn't go as far as calling you an a-hole, but don't expect to be able to salvage any kind of relationship with your daughter in the future. Edit, read again, and change my mind. If you've been wanting a DNA test for 5 years, that means Bella was what, 11 when you decided you wanted one? Which tells her that you only consider her your daughter and want 50-50 custody if she's genetically yours, regardless of the fact that you raised her from childhood. Weird hill to die on if you actually care about her at all, and weird to expect her to want to get along with your fiancé. You're the a-hole. I mean, do most people consider their ex's kid with someone else they were cheating on you with to be theirs? Some people keep in touch with their stepkids after a divorce, but plenty don't. I don't think that is a weird hill to die on. Bella was apparently 11 years old and living with Opie half the time. It's really simple to do a cheek swab and send it in for testing. Ex-wife's refusal sounds like an excuse. Daughter, you're the a-hole just for that. Get a court order for a paternity test before you stop paying child support. You also raised this child, but suddenly she isn't your daughter? That is new depths of a-holehood. Legit, and he's upset that his daughter is mad at him for abandoning her. Of course she's not going to like his new wife. As far as she can tell, her dad abandoned her for a new life. You're the a-hole, OP. You are a deadbeat and a terrible father. Info, why didn't you have the courts order the DNA test? That's like standard divorce and custody procedure number 1. Your ex would have been held in contempt if she refused a court-ordered DNA test. This makes no sense. Probably because he was already declared her father at birth, because he and the mother were married. Courts usually do not disestablish paternity unless it is directly asked to, since paternity is already established. I'm going to get trashed for this for sure, but why paternity test is an automatic thing? Sure, it's a happy family event when someone is born right there, but sometimes that can be behind lies. Sure, I know laws pretend to protect the child, but at the expense of whom? Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying just because I don't wear my wedding ring doesn't mean I'm trying to hook up? Forgive me if I spell something wrong. My buddy said to post my story here due to all the backlash I'm getting from a job. I, 41 male, have 2 jobs. One is a full-time blue-collar job where I work with cement a lot just for some background. And the other is a small firm another buddy of mine owns as a part-time accounting associate. So at this accounting firm, everyone else knows I'm married and has been married for 17 years, with 2 kids, 14 male and 12 female. They hired a new full-time accountant. Let's call her River. To me, she has been a crowd pleaser, and due to most of work being virtual, we had a much more lax dress code. For context, for my primary job, I work for 10-hour shifts a week, and normally Monday to Thursday. Then Friday and Saturday I work at my buddy's firm, basically do reconciliations on an accrual basis. I normally don't wear my ring because sometimes I have to go help on a project and have lost many rings in cement without realizing it. So I normally don't wear it when I am working because everyone already knows that I am a married man. The only thing I talk about is my family, construction, and accounting. Then some of the guys at the office were talking about River, how she has been dumped by her boyfriend and is looking for a new man. Me, being the kind person I am, said I hope she finds a man who would make her happy. Somehow what I said got to her, and she thought that I was hitting on her. And she came up to me and tried to tell me a sob story about her man was insecure about her having a lonely fence. I said that is definitely a deal breaker for most, so I guess she thought I was saying I am an exception. So she asked if I want to record some content later, and I politely said, "No, I am married." She said, "Why don't you have a ring on then?" And I said I don't wear a ring because they normally get lost in cement. She said, "You must want to appear single if you don't wear your ring here." And I said, "Just because I don't wear a ring doesn't mean I want to hook up with some professional." She screamed and called me a misogynistic pig and said she will get me fired. I just laughed and said, "You're selling your body for money. Back in my day, they had a name for those. They're professionals." So I ask, am I the a-hole here? Now for the comments. You are not the a-hole for the entire post until those last few sentences. Big for your response to her. It was unnecessary and cruel. I bet it made you feel really big though to belittle someone. It was pretty necessary. She asked a coworker to make adult content with her, didn't take no for an answer, and called him a liar and insisted he wanted to appear single. If she's going to be sensual and pushy, she deserves to be insulted. I bet if it was a man doing it to a woman, you'd be saying the exact opposite of what you are now. Yes, honestly, calling her a professional is basically what she was to OP. She wanted to hook up with him in order to get paid, even if it wasn't by OP. Not the a-hole. Also, she is admittedly a worker who was propositioning to you. What does it makes her? The only criticism people can make to you is the wording, but she was the one who started by harassing you at work. You should take the initiative and tell your boss before she tries to control the narrative. I hope he heed that advice. He is now in a vulnerable place and cannot trust her. Not the a-hole. You are not wrong. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He called a spade a spade. She wasn't angry at a time of making money through OF by selling her pictures, but is now angry that people openly associate her with her profession? You stood your ground, man. You are a believer in true gender equality. I completely support you. Same. If I was there, I would have said, "Get wrecked," after that line. Haha. It sounds like he was dishing the same energy she was giving. But I agree. He should let his supervisor know before she does, and this whole thing becomes more unnecessary drama. Last story. Am I the a-hole for asking boyfriend of 3 years to not go to a wedding without me? Me and my boyfriend have been living together for a year and been a couple for a total of 3 years. I've met my boyfriend's childhood friend that I'm now posting about several times, and he has always been very kind to me. However, meeting his fiancée was a different story. She was very rude to me, talked only to my boyfriend. And when I tried to be part of their conversation, she told me that my boyfriend used to be in love with her friend, which I had no idea about since it happened 10 years ago before I was part of his life. I continued to try to be kind to her and complimented her engagement ring, asking when they were supposed to get married. And her reply to me was, "When is your boyfriend going to propose to you?" I was surprised and said, "I don't know," and remained silent for a while, letting them keep their conversation going, before asking my boyfriend to come with me to the bar to get a drink. At the bar, I explained I didn't feel very welcome and asked if we could leave. He wanted to stay and we did. I continued to try to be kind to everyone since I don't know most of the people there. I have since then met both my boyfriend's friend and his fiancée again, and it has been fine. However, we recently received a wedding invitation that states that they are getting married this summer. My boyfriend has paid for a bachelor party that includes them going for a weekend in another country. Unfortunately, my name was not on a wedding invitation. However, it was signed, "We look forward to celebrate our special day with you." Since me and my boyfriend have been a couple for 3 years and are living together, we both assumed I'd be included in the invite. But to make sure, my boyfriend asked the groom if it was okay to RSVP for both of us. His friend responded that they couldn't have everyone bring a +1. As my boyfriend thought it was a decision for all of their mutual friends who wasn't married, he said he understood. However, it now seems that I'm the only one of the girlfriends/wives who are not invited. I would really hate for him to miss this event, but clearly the fiancé doesn't like me, and I feel like if my boyfriend went without me, it would be making it okay for her to exclude me for no real reason. I think he should ask his friend why I'm the only one not invited, and ask how his friend would have reacted if it was the other way around and it was them in our situation. They've known each other for nearly 20 years. It just seems wrong to not invite his partner as well. And it's breaking my heart seeing my boyfriend having to choose. Yet, at the same time, I feel as all our mutual friends are going, he should stand up for me. Am I the a-hole? His friend responded that they couldn't have everyone bring a +1. My boyfriend has paid for a bachelor party that includes them going for a weekend in another country. So the person who paid for his bachelor party in another country can't bring a +1? Not the a-hole. They are. And so is your boyfriend if he accepts this behavior towards you. If my friend tried this, I would cancel all the reservations except the flight. They can figure it out when they get there. No. Not the a-hole. And Opie's boyfriend should be ashamed of his lack of spine. Not the a-hole. This is BS. And they are clearly isolating you. Your boyfriend paid for a bachelor party in another country, and yet they can't afford to invite his long-term partner. That's incredibly tacky, and they clearly think snubbing you is more important than your boyfriend's friendship. How on earth is your boyfriend not furious about this rudeness to you, and also rudeness to him? Can he not see how everyone else is getting a +1 but not him? Is he not embarrassed? They want to get the boyfriend hooked back up with his old love, the bride-to-be's best friend. Boyfriend should insist on Opie attending, or he should withdraw from the wedding and all the preparations. Anything short of this shows his lack of respect/support with Opie. Not the a-hole. Ask your boyfriend to tell his bestie that it's not fair for you to be excluded when all of the other girlfriends have been invited. If they continue to exclude you after that conversation, and your boyfriend wants to go without you, or if he doesn't stand up for you and have this conversation, he doesn't care about you enough for you to stay